how's it going? So I realized that I haven't really updated you guys on what's going on around here, especially since I asked to be replaced with my teaching job. So I thought I would give you a little bit of an update. You know how I go. I normally will just give you a quick update and I end up chatting forever, so hopefully this will just be quick. But everything's been great. I guess I figured that's why I haven't updated you guys, because everything's been fine. Like, everything's great. You can stop watching the video now. So I really miss the job. I miss the kids. I talked to the person that replaced me and I was like, you know, you've got the best job in the world, right? But I have found that I have a lot less, you know, I didn't realize it was an anxiety of sorts, this job. And I have been doing this job for such a long time that in the past it didn't stress me out in the past. It was like manageable and everything was so fluid in the past. Like everything just fell into place and everything was great. But this last year that I was teaching, I felt like the stress was a little higher, the anxiety was a little bit higher. So it has been nice to wake up every morning and have other things on my mind than the stress of that job and making sure I'm doing it right. You know, all the stuff that comes along with teaching, making sure that I'm being a good teacher, making sure I'm connecting with my students and stuff like that. And when in the past, again, before, it was all fluid, I didn't have to like think about these things, but for whatever reason, it was different this year. And I think it's because I knew that I wasn't to be doing it anymore. It's been much easier all around too with my husband's new job, and so for me not to teach has actually been a blessing, because I think with the scheduling of things, it would have just been difficult. I wouldn't have been able to teach at all, because it would just have been too troublesome to continuously find a sub or continuously stressing myself out over other things. I'm finding as I'm getting older, so I don't know if this is like a getting older thing or if it's just a me thing, let me know down below, that the older I get, the more I strive for simplicity, I guess you could say. And I know I talk a lot about like internal improvement and self-improvement, and I think that's just the journey that I'm on. So I apologize if I talk and talk and talk about knowing my truth, how to help you know yourself, you know, relating it all to God, and I'm sorry if that gets kind of wearing and boring. So a lot of times I look at like my plate, if you assume that your responsibilities are on a plate, and I look at my responsibilities and the things that I will agree to do and how much of it is really necessary, right? So how much of it do I really need to have on my plate? And I've been thinking about what is the most important things in this life and what should we be doing? When I read the scriptures, I'm like, all right, what is it that I have to do every day? What is asked of me by God? So, in the scriptures it states to love God and then to love thy neighbor as thyself. So love God, love yourself, love your neighbor, and to serve one another as well. That kind of stuff. Be like Christ, right? So how many times do we overfill our plate with things that are good but are unnecessary in the grand scheme of things? Now I understand that we put things on our plate to help keep us in line, to help keep us in check, and to help keep us doing good. But how many times do we overload in hopes for betterment, or in a feigned hope of something that really isn't gonna happen? Because of this, because I've been looking at my plate of responsibilities and kind of pushing off the things that I feel aren't like super important. I've mentioned this in many prior videos, but the one important thing that I've also been doing and I've been doing more of is putting out boundaries. And when I say boundaries, I don't mean I just kick people out constantly. I used to think of it negatively. I used to think, oh, you're putting up boundaries because you just won't accept those around you. Like I've always thought boundaries were to keep a distance between you and other people. And that's not so. That's not how I mean it. Boundaries is knowing your limits and knowing when to say no. Lately, I have been putting up the boundaries, or at least knowing my boundaries, not putting up boundaries. I am knowing my boundaries knowing when too much is being asked of me, and trying to keep things simple. I worry a lot of times that when we overfill our plate with unnecessary things, that it really hurts us ultimately. And a lot of times I believe that we are unaware of how much we fill our plate, because we want to be the good person and we want to be the nice person who will do anything and everything. I always thought, oh wow, the courageous person is the one that will just do everything for everyone. No, the courageous person knows what's best for them, because when they are at their best, then they can give and do all that they can for those around them, up to a limit. I have found the beauty in saying no, which just a few years ago I was scared of saying no. I'm finding out now how nice it is to say no, knowing that people can come to me, ask me something, and know that I will give them the honest answer. Because I know all of my friends, I want to believe all of my friends, all those who I'm in contact with, never ever intentionally try to overwhelm me. So for me to come to them and be like, I can't, I'm sorry, I'm busy that day, or it's a bad day today, or I'm overwhelmed, I can't do that right now, or you're asking too much of me, I can do maybe this much, that I feel like that makes for a better friendship. For me to be open and honest about that. And I've come quite a long way. And it might not be visible to those who have known me all my life. You know, I would have never have known that you can have this much control of your life. I wrongly felt that I was to allow other people to tell me what to do, and so I gave up the control. I think people need to know that they can have control of their lives and still be able to help other people, and still be available for other people, and still have enough within them to go save the world. I think a lot of people think, oh, if I spend time on myself, I can't give that to other people, and other people need me so much, and I'm just a piece of crap, so I don't even want to work on myself. And that is probably the worst thing you could ever think, feel, and do, is cut yourself down like that. And to have you put other people above you, that's not any good, because then what you're doing is you're carrying the needs, the problems of other people, and you are just crashing. I'm trying to look at the grand scheme of things. I'm trying to look at my life at this moment, how God, the universe, the higher self, whatever your higher being is that you turn to, how he sees me. And I wonder how many times, with the best of intentions, I put stuff on my plate because I think it's the best thing, and he looks at me and thinks, well, that's nice of you, that's good of you, it's good that you're doing this, it's good that you're doing that, but that really isn't necessary. I found too that overwhelming your life with things doesn't give you a badge. I used to think that if you were so busy and so overwhelmed in your so busy life, that somehow that gave you more respect. Like the important things plus a lot more. I used to think that it would give you some form of honor, recognition, to maybe to others around you, or to even yourself, or to God. And I've realized that's not the case. I've often wondered how much God just prefers us to live in simplicity and not complicating things and overcomplicating things. So that is it. That's what I've been up to lately. If you have any questions or comments, let me know down below. Thank you guys for watching. Catch you on the flip. Bye.